Hello, welcome to Introduction to Puppet. In this tutorial, you will learn how to utilize Puppet for server orchestration. Requirement for this tutorial is a modern Linux distribution with Puppet 3.3 or higher. Let's make Puppet do something. The code you see will create a file tmp-tutorial.txt containing "This is tutorial about Puppet." In order to execute the code, you will usually run puppet apply. In its output, Puppet will tell you what it just executed and was it successful or not. Let's break the code just to see what it looks like in a non-perfect world. To do that, we'll declare a file in a non-existing path like tmp non-existing tutorial.txt. As Puppet is noisy when it encounters an error, take a moment or two to study its output. Let's tell Puppet to create the missing directory and notify when everything is done. Notice that Puppet notified us before tutorial.txt was created. This is because Puppet doesn't know what order of resources you want. To enforce the order of resources, Puppet introduces concept of relations. Any resource can require any other resource or it can subscribe to it. The difference is that require relation only requires that parent resource is present, while subscribe relation will execute resource whenever its parent resource changes. Let's fix this code. We'll illustrate difference between require and subscribe on a new example. Let's say you need to create a directory and download Google's index.html in it. Exec resource needs directory where command will be executed or cwd, path as Puppet doesn't pick your path shell variable, and the command itself. We require that the directory is created first. If you apply this Puppet code once, it will work as expected. But any subsequent Puppet apply will create new HTML file. Let's say we want Puppet to download new HTML only once. That's achieved through refresh only directive like so. Now you can execute this Puppet code multiple times, knowing it will execute wget command only once. If you want Puppet to execute it every time tmp exec changes, you need to use subscribe directive instead of require. Sometimes it's easier to write relations in opposite direction. For example, instead of subscribe in exec, you can use notify in file without changing the relation itself. So, in short, notify is the same as subscribe and before is the same as require. The only difference is where you declare your relation. That would be all for this tutorial. For a reference of all Puppet resource, you can go to docs.puppetlabs.com references stable type.html.